Hi everybody, and welcome to the first video for our Thankful For You mystery box. This video is all about the magnets. I'm so excited to show you how to make these. They're really fun, really easy, and this is a great way to get your whole family involved in the holiday. I hope that you guys will enjoy making these, but I've got two different ways to make them. You can make them with sublimation, or you could use vinyl. It's really up to you and how you want to do it. Make sure that you've downloaded the SVG if you'd like to make these. I have both sublimation and just a regular SVG available. You can find those at the website that was listed in the paperwork. If you did not get the paperwork, please reach out to 143 Vinyl with your order number and they'll make sure that you get that information. So let's get started. I can't wait to show you how to make these.
Whatever we do it just for fun.
I've loaded my design for my magnet into Cricut Design Space. Now, one thing is that Cricut Design Space doesn't always like to keep things the right size, so we are going to need to size this down. Our magnet is 2 inches by 3 inches, and we're actually going to do this in a landscape format, so that 3 inches is going to be the width. So I'm just going to size this down, and I want to make it a little bit smaller than the 3-inch mark, just a little bit. You don't have to go too crazy. And you'll see that we have 2 pieces here. So I'm going to ungroup them so that you can see the 2 separate pieces. So one piece will be cut on the Magic Deceit, and then the other one you can cut on Battleship Gray. You could also use the metallic copper if you want, but I think I'm going to go ahead and use the Deceit. Now, if you want to, this is an option. I left them the way they are, but if you want to, you can actually fill in your offset a little bit if you don't like having some of those smaller holes in it. So what you can do is go to Contour, and like I said, I left them in case you wanted them, but I didn't want to take them all out. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click all the small holes that I don't necessarily want in my design. So I'm going to go ahead and just take them out of pretty much everywhere. And oops, I didn't mean to scroll over that far. And then you can see here, if you click this, it's going to hide the whole thing. So you just want to make sure that you're only clicking on these little center pieces. So it looks like we've got everything pretty well hidden. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and close that. And now you'll see that you have a filled in offset without the smaller spaces. So like I said, it's really up to you. You can also go in and fill in the leaves if you want to. So there's a lot of things you can do to kind of make this your own. So if you wanted to fill in the leaves, you can just click Contour, and then you would just need to go through and just click all the leaves. Now I will say that some machines do have a little bit of trouble cutting out these small pieces of the leaves. So if your machine is having trouble, just fill them in. They still look really, really cute. But some machines just can't handle the little pieces of the leaves. It's just a matter of your machine and how it wants to work that day. Mine can be a little bit finicky occasionally, so I'm going to go ahead and fill my leaves in because I think I actually really like them filled in. But I wanted to give you guys a few options when it came to how you wanted your design set up. I didn't want to make you have to have it a certain way. That's why I left the holes open for you guys. So now when you go back, you'll have actually solid leaves, which I actually really like the solid leaf look because I like to have a lot of glitter when it comes to my design. Now I want to show you something that is really, really handy that 143 Vinyl offers us. If you go to the 143 Vinyl page, you'll see that it's going to pop up with a banner, but you can go down here to where it says resources and choose that. Then if you go to the material, cutter, and press settings, click on that and click here to download the file. It's going to open up a PDF of all of the cut settings. So we are using 2 different types of vinyl. We're going to be using the Battleship Gray by Avery. That just cuts on the regular vinyl setting. But we're also going to be using StarCraft Magic, which cuts on the vinyl or the glitter vinyl setting with more pressure. So just note that you'll want to try some test cuts if you've never worked with that vinyl before. But if you have and you know what it cuts on, that's great. But I always recommend doing a test cut if you haven't cut on that item before. So let's go over to Cricut Design Space and get this all set up to cut. Now that we've checked our cut settings, all we have to do is click the word Make It. It's going to sort our 2 items onto the 2 separate mats. So we have our Battleship Gray and our Magic Deceit Orange. So the first one that we're going to cut is Battleship Gray, and all you'll have to do is click Continue, and it needs to load with your machine. All you'll need to do on this one is just select the regular vinyl setting. That's for our Avery cuts perfectly on this. So let's go ahead and cut that out. I'm really excited for this one. I'm actually going to switch the way I had these. So originally I had the sparkle as the words and the gray as the background, but I really think I want to do the sparkle as the background. You can do it any way that you want, any colors that you want. It's really up to you. But this is the StarCraft Magic Deceit in orange. I absolutely love this vinyl. It's so pretty, really easy to work with, super simple. So we're going to go ahead and load this. Get this cut, and then we will load the Battleship Gray by Avery. Look how pretty those are going to look together. So nice. Cannot wait to get this one all finished. This magnet is super fun and really easy. So what we're going to do is use the parchment paper method to layer this. So I've got my transfer tape, and what I want to do is put this gray part on the transfer tape. So I'm just going to kind of measure. You don't have to be exact, but I just like these little squares. It makes it a little bit easier to cut straight lines and to get a good size for your transfer tape. So put that over to the side. Now you're going to want some parchment paper and a squeegee. And what I'm going to do is peel my backing off of my transfer tape. And then I'm going to lay that over the gray wording. And then I want to burnish this down to the transfer tape. And then I like to flip my transfer tape over and peel my vinyl from the backing like this. Now if you have a little piece that kind of wants to lift, you can just kind of push it back down. And we're just going to gently remove the backing. Now is where our parchment paper is going to come in, and then I just kind of got to figure out which way this goes, because this goes a certain direction. That's the way. Okay. So what I'm going to do is take my parchment paper, and you can reuse the same piece of parchment paper a million times. This has like been well loved. And what I do is I just place it so that some of my vinyl is sticking out over here, and then I place this right on top, and I just leave a little bit of a tail of vinyl sticking out over the side. And then what you're going to do is line this up until you're happy. Press down the side that you have the transfer tape open to, and then just take out your parchment paper. And then all you simply have to do is burnish this down together. And now you have this easily layered decal, and you could really move it around before you committed to it actually sitting on your other layer. So it's really easy to do. Then we're going to go ahead and peel our vinyl off of our backing again, and we have our magnet. Now you can again use the parchment paper if you'd like to. Just place that parchment paper over your magnet, leaving a little bit of space, and you can use that to help you get this even, because this is pretty big for the magnet. I wanted it to take up a lot of space. So when you're happy with your placement, just press down where you have the vinyl exposed. Take your parchment paper out and just press this down. Now you want to give this a good burnish again. Just kind of get that a nice rub down, and then you can peel your transfer tape off. Now you do want to go a little bit slow just to make sure everything stays stuck down, but this transfer tape is awesome and it's so nice. And then you have this beautiful sparkly magnet. Now I'm going to show you what we're going to do with this magnet, because I think this is a really fun idea and we're going to get everybody involved. Now, if you are the person who wants to do this with sublimation, I've got this saved in a couple of different versions. So what you're going to look for are the magnet sublimation designs. There is an SVG, which will show as an HTML document, a PNG, a PDF, an EPS, and a DXF. If you open the PDF, it's going to be pre-sized, easy to do, very, very simple. All you'll have to do is just open that and print it directly from the PDF. You can also open this in Inkscape. You can open this pretty much in any of your files. They're already pre-sized. I gave you a lot of different color options, so you could choose whichever one you liked the best as far as your choice in color. So you can either just print them all, or if you want to get rid of some of them, I'm going to show you how to do that using Inkscape. If you don't have Inkscape, download Inkscape at inkscape.org. Right-click on the sublimation design and tell it to open with Inkscape. Now, Inkscape might take a few moments to open. It can be just a little bit slow sometimes, so just give it a second because it kind of has its moments. So once it's open, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this so it's out of our way. So this is, again, that whole design. Now, I do need to double check something, and yours might be set like this too. So go to File and go to Document Properties. And then all you're going to do is choose US letter. It's not going to resize any of our designs, but it is going to change the sizing of our page that it's on because sometimes it doesn't like to work with the printer. So now all I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and select all the designs to move them a little bit because you need to move them down a little bit. And this just happens sometimes depending on your item, whatever you want to do. So now all you need to do is just choose whichever color you want to work with. I am sort of loving this one with the white. So what I'm going to do is select all of the other ones and I'm just simply going to hit delete. Now, again, it's not going to maybe delete everything because you do need to make sure you select all of it. But I'm just going to delete all the ones that I don't want. And then you can go ahead and move this to any part of the page that you want it to print on. Just make sure that you do select all of it. Like I didn't select all of it, so I'm going to click Edit Undo. That way it didn't move it too much. And draw a big square and make sure everything's selected. And I'm just going to move it up on my paper a little bit. Then all I want to do now is click File and click Print. And then I want to make sure that I have my Sublimation printer selected, which is my ST4000. Then I want to click Preferences. We're going to do a couple of things to change our preferences over here. We're going to change the quality to high. And then under More Options, we are going to turn off the high-speed print and turn on Mirror Image. That way it's going to actually flip it because it has words. You want to make sure that it is flipped. Then I'm going to just hit OK. Then we can print it and be ready to press it. Now, one thing I will say is do not place your magnet piece on right away. You'll want to wait on placing that because you're going to want to make sure that this part lays flat. So the first thing that I'm going to do is grab my design. Now you can trim this down if you so desire. It's really up to you. I'm going to trim it down just a little bit just so I don't have so much paper. And what I want to do is I'm going to take my magnet and I'm going to place it face down over the design. So you'll see that I'm going to just kind of play around with it and make sure that it looks pretty straight. It looks pretty good like that. So again, I'm going to take my tape and I want to tape down my magnet. Now I like to do this backwards so that I'm taping my magnet onto my paper, not my paper onto my magnet since the design is so big on the magnet. So you don't need to put a ton of tape, but enough to hold this down. Then all you need is a little piece of butcher paper. Again, I'm not worried about my design coming through the back because this is a solid piece. It's not fabric. So what I'm just going to do is take some butcher paper, and you see I cut it pretty small, and I'm just going to go ahead and fold it over a couple of times. It doesn't really need to be crazy. I just fold it over so that I don't have such a large piece. And then what I'll do is I'll put it into my press just like this. Now you can see through here, so if you want to make sure that everything's lined up the way you want it to be, you can absolutely see that. Then we'll just put it on the heat press just like that. This is going to press for about at 395 for about 60 seconds. Then when we're done, we can place our magnet. So just make sure you don't lose this. I like to just put it right back into the little plastic case. So we'll go ahead over to the heat press so we can press this. We are going to press our little magnet, which we have taped here. Like I said, because this is aluminum, I'm not worried about it going through, so I really don't need the butcher paper on the one side. And then we just have butcher paper here, which doesn't need to be 4, it just needs to be 2. I just folded it. So we'll go ahead and press this again for $3.95 for about 60 seconds. Now this one's going to be very hot when we take it out, so I'm going to go ahead and remove this. And for this one, I'm not going to touch it. It's metal. It's very, very hot. So I'm just going to grab this edges of the paper and I'm going to move this over to my table and I'm going to let it cool because that is really, really warm. So just don't touch it. Now that we've pressed our magnet, we can put the little actual magnet on the back. So this is real easy. It's just a little sticker, basically. And if you lose this, you can just get sticker magnets at Walmart. But this is just all you do. Peel off the back, and then you can kind of put your magnet wherever you want on the back of this. I just kind of center it. Doesn't have to be straight. Nobody will notice. And then your magnet is good to go. So I'm going to show you how we're going to use these. They're going to be a really fun thing that you can do with your family. This is what I envisioned for it. You can use a magnetic board, a chalkboard, or a dry erase board, or even your refrigerator and have people write notes about what they're thankful for that year. If you write notes, you can keep them for the next year and always look back on them, or you can always just take a picture of your chalkboard, or maybe it's something that you could leave up year round and just add to it as you think of things. And then maybe on Thanksgiving, you could read over what you're thankful for. Then I took the other one and put it on a little jar so that you could cut out little slips of paper and put what you're thankful for on that. And again, you could save it year after year. So I just thought this was a fun way that you could get everyone involved and just be thankful. If you guys have questions, please let me know in those comments down below. I'm always happy to answer those for you. I hope you guys had fun with this tutorial. Have a wonderful day and happy crafting!